We're already starting off Hilchos Chol Hamoed, and I feel impelled to start off by saying the truth.
Does that mean that all the things before that was not?
No, I said to start off by saying the truth. Okay, we always say the truth. How important are Hilchos Chol Hamoed? That's the question. That's like when I say this is like a difficult question, because how do you answer such a question, right? So the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says as follows. Says that if a person, what? Mishnah says, Hamavazes hamoyados, a person mavazes hamoyados, ein lo chelik l'olam haba. Rashi on that Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, Amei for brisoi. We understand that as a pretty serious infraction. But mavazes hamoyados oichel kachim. The person's mavazes hamoyados, Rashi says mavazes hamoyados does not mean yontif. It means chol hamoed, and it means a person who eats on chol hamoed like he eats on a weekday, and he dresses on Chol Hamoed like he does on a weekday. And the reason why, Rashi says the reason why is because, and I used to say this as a joke, and I don't mean to say lashon hara on anybody, but it's chol or is it moed? Which one is it? What?
If you're to swallow liquor, you keep your frog. If
Rabbi Lezer hamoidoi oimer hamachalel es hakochim. It's two different gisois of this. V'hamavazes hamoyados, v'hamal bnei chaveru barabim, v'hamefer brisa shel Avrohom Avinu, v'hamagala ponim b'Torah sheloi kalocha. So if I would ask you which is the smallest infraction out of all of them, I think that we would all say, thank you, I think we would all say that it's Mavazes Hamoedus, right? So, I'm just reading over here, this is not a Pirkei Avos here. Af al pi sheish biyod ha'Torah u'ma'asim tovim, ein lo chelik l'olam haba. So, that's not good.
Strong words.
Strong words, I like that, that's, yeah. Okay. Now, says Rashi, v'hamavazeh, Chilo choyloi shel moyed, not yontif. Choyloi shel moyed, ba'asiyas malacha, oy shenoem behem minig chol, ba'achila v'shtia, you ate a sandwich, Dehoyel ve'einom chamurim ki yom tov, ein achosh l'shomrom. It's a given. We're on a letdown. So ein achosh l'shomrom. Now, if you think what we said till now is bad, that in the Chelik Mabo, listen to the next line of Rashi. Kol Eila Nafki, these are learned out from the pasuk, Michi Dvar Hashem Bozo. A person who's Machal al Yontif is Mevaza HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shenoyeg Behem Minig Bezoyin. You did not give Chol Hamoed the proper derech eretz that it deserves. So, Alpha Pi Sheish Biyad Torah Ma'asim Tovim Ein Lo Chelik L'olam haba Dvar Hashem Bozo. Okay, this is called saying the truth. Why is saying the truth? So, I would like to share with you a wonderful, heartwarming incident that happened to me this afternoon, and I think that this is the start of an understanding of what I just said. And this is a push introduction because it's not a joke. That's what I'm trying to say. A friend of mine, for many years ago, came to Eretz Yisrael, and he happened to be learning the Beis Medrash with his children with me, same Beis Medrash. So after finished learning, he asked those kids to ask me a question that they had. And the question that they had was a fascinating question. It says in today's Aliyah of Parshas Ekev, from when you know me, Mamri mi Yisrael Keshem. You've been always constantly Mamri, how do you say that? What? Rebellious to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Embittering.
What? Embittering, yeah, okay. So, no, that's closer to, you'll see why in a minute. So, his kid said, every day, that's what it seems to say in the pasuk, every day, read the pasuk. It says, from when I took you out of Mitzrayim until today, every day you were embittering me. Every day, being was so bad. The people were eating man, the Kabbalah Torah, the day of Maasei Sinai. So I asked my kids, the day of Maasei Sinai, where were they embittering Hashem? So one says they slept in. Okay, that was not a bad answer, but I don't think that's the answer. So I was speaking to kids, okay? So I said to the kid, which case would your mother be happier? If she asked you to clean the room and you did 50% with a smile, or you did the whole room with a sourpuss face? Why?
You did it with a smile. You did it with...
Which one did you do it? Yes, that's always difficult with me, right? But you're right.
Thank you.
No, but you're right. But what's the explanation? That your mother doesn't need you to clean the room. She needs you to listen to her. The big subject is, are you with us or are you not with us?
I mean, they both did it, and one...
No, one did the whole room.
Oh, okay, so one did the whole... So he said, so you did the whole room. So therefore then, that person should have been, that's a better person. He did the whole room. The other kid didn't do... The other kid did it with
Ratzon.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think he deserves more.
Oh, so in other words, it's you got 100 on the test and you failed the course, right? As it say in English, right? So no, Hashem doesn't need us to do mitzvahs. He needs us to want to do mitzvahs. Not that he needs that either, but I'm saying, but the being the Eved Hashem, what it demands is not the execution, it's the heart. That's what's the most important thing.
It's a very dangerous attitude. People who love Hashem but don't want to. They're Jewish in heart.
Okay, you want to know something? You know what? Know something? I apologize. I didn't see that you were here. I would have been mefaret. If the guy did 50% because he's happy to serve his mother, and then the football game was on, that's a different story. But if the pshat was he did 50%, and then he wasn't able to for whatever reason it was. But the ratzon was there. Now the stories that you're talking about, the ratzon is not there. And I just want to tell you, since you're here, parrots, I'd like to discuss my post-Shabbos Nachamu thing that I'd like to pick on you. Okay? No, this is the post-Shabbos Nachamu. I spoke to a friend of mine, a colleague, a Rav, and he told me that somebody asked him about the Kumzitz on Tisha B'Av night, and he said, don't quote me on this, but if there would be some gadol that said the reason why there's Ezrat Yisrael is because there's a Kumzitz on Tisha B'Av night, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but Yechol Liot, Churban maybe Churban. That was Ezrat. You don't know what Ezrat Yisrael is?
No.
You should be praised.
I don't know either.
There is a place by the Kaisel which is given to different religion.
Oh, that.
Okay,
That's what it's called.
Yeah. Now I had the opportunity once to have to go there for whatever reason. I was going over the top, and just to tell you the thing that I found pathetic or amusing. There was a minyan of mixed genders, and the man that was wearing tefillin was wearing them beinecha, mamish like a karai, mamish, like because it
One of these
mamish.
ladies also, she had a picture. I was finding the ring, and she was mamish wearing it right here. I'm like,
As I think about it, the Yetzer Hara mamish is consistent.
If the woman does it, that's fine. She doesn't want to wear it.
Yeah, I understand. I said that, that's not. I didn't say about the women. I said about the man. I don't know if you noticed. I was very particular what I said. Anyways, so after this fellow calmed down, I said to him, his iris is a wonderful thing. The litmus test is what happens afterwards. If you had that as iris and then you just pass the pizza and move on, so it's just entertainment. If after this iris, the person decides that he's not going to eat meat for the next week because of the Chorban, because he was moved by the kumzitz, as ulai yesh mashu l'daber, if the ends justify the means. Anyways, let's get back to the subject at hand. You understand whether that answered your question? The person whose mother, he listened to his mother and he was an oinus, means he was an oinus, bemet. Right? So the job didn't get done, that's not important. That's not important because that wasn't the point. But the person who is just grumbling and doing it, you better make sure you did the job. There, at least that you better do. But Vada, not everybody who says that the heart is. I'll just tell you how this. Listen carefully. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is matzaref machshava to Maasei. And the Mabit explains that when you have a machshava that is mitzuref to a Maasei, the ikar is the machshava. But if you have a machshava without a Maasei, you have nothing. That's it. I'll just share with you. What? Right, because we live in the Olam Asiya, K'Isim B'Maral. I asked our Rosh Yeshiva, when I was like 16 years old, I asked him a fascinating question, and I remember his pathetic look when he was looking at me when trying to answer this question, and my lack of understanding what in the world he was talking about. It took me probably 10 years to understand what he was talking about.
Was it your lack of answer?
My lack. I gave him a mashal. I said, you have a guy who's planning to kill somebody, he's stalking him, and he sets up his rifle on a tripod. He has it all figured out. And for 2 weeks, he's dovuk the chet of Ritzicha. And then he pulls the trigger, and this loser, a bird got in the way. Okay? And there's another guy who's a shomer, and a ganav comes, and he pulls out his gun to protect the people, and as he's putting the gun away, niflat kadur v'lo aleinu lo lechem, he kills somebody. Who has to do more tshuva? I'm 16 years old. Okay, so don't scream at me.
You asked that child?
Yeah. What do you say?
It's simple. It's simple.
It took you way too long for a simple.
It's not.
I don't know, maybe you're right, but it's way too long for simple.
I don't think the shomer is.
The shomer needs to do more tshuva.
There's a
No.
like Yuchalit Kom. The other one is Yuchalit Kom.
Okay. The answer to the question is the shomer, because he did it. And just for you, I think the Tanya is not so simple. I agree with what you're saying. Take a look on his Yisrael, and you'll see a fascinating piece. Anyways, but Moshe just looked at me. He said, he did it, and he didn't. The Machshava didn't have a Maasei. You can argue whether setting it up and all that, all these tripods and everything, but
He had a Maasei, he didn't have a Totah.
what? As I say, that's it. Discuss what's called the Maasei you need. That was the point. Anyways, so the halacha of Chol Hamoed, so that's like that situation.
Is there any part of rebellion though, wanting to
Rebellion
against Hashem?
Yeah.
Wanting to do what he said you shouldn't do, that's part of the Yitzhar.
I
The
don't
guy
see the
who
words
spent
mean.
2 weeks wanting to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Is there what to do tshuva on? Just let's tshuva.
Avada. Avada. Korban oila is brought al herhure avera. Korban. It's korban brought on.
Those here who are also for us.
Okay, but then nothing happened. It doesn't make a difference. It's all in the same pile. Avada is it, but we live in the world of Asiya. That's the answer to the question. Okay? Echshu. Now, I would like to discuss Hilchos Chol Hamoed. Okay? That was just an introduction that we should understand that this is serious be'emet. Okay? Now, there are a variety of shittas in the Rishonim as to whether that which is usher to do on Chol Hamoed is an Issa D'Oraisa or an Issa D'Rabbanan. L'may nafka mina, as my wife Shishbuel says, there's a Gehenim for the Rabbanans too. Like, it's not like, if it's Rabbanan, you're going to Gan Eden just at a lower level, right? Going to, so they're one Lakula. So, if you hold that it's a Deraisa, Safik Chol Hamoed Chumrah. If you hold it's a Kula, it's Rabbanan, it's a Rabbanan Kula. And I'll just give you an example of many times where I have this issue, which we'll discuss this at a different time when we get to the halacha. Certain things are aser even though they're Chol Hamoed, unless it's a Maasei Hediot. And it's a Maasei Uman, it's aser, and a Maasei Hediot, it's mutter. What is called a Maasei Uman and what is called a Maasei Hediot, I don't know. And I'll tell you the question which I get asked all the time, and I don't know the answer. To put a teka onto a electric cord, is that a Maasei Uman? To put the plug onto the wire.
Okay, on an empty wire.
What?
On the empty wire.
An empty wire.
Very easy.
You know how I know it's not? Because I could do it.
Same here.
I disagree.
It
Because
used to be illegal in Israel to do it if you weren't a license.
Of course. Everything's
because
Everything's
Is driving a Maasei Uman? And they haven't even license for it. We'll have to discuss that at a different time. We'll discuss. All these are important questions.
I consider myself somewhat of an uman, but not with electrical, because I don't like electrical. But when it came time to actually put on that, because mine blew up, and I had somebody else do it, and I'm so glad I did, because where you put the wires is very important. And if you mix it and you change it, it'll blow up.
So what I have to say about people like you? Follow instructions.
There are no instructions. There are no instructions.
There are, but no Mishnah. But the answer to the question is, I will tell you.
If you drive and you go in the wrong way.
So I'm going to answer your question. I want to answer your question first. I would like to just take apart what you said. You understand the danger involved in messing up, so you don't want to take a chance, where in other scenarios you would take a chance because the disaster isn't so expensive. I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about, what could happen. That doesn't make it more uman or less uman. No. It doesn't make it more uman or less uman. Uman means that you have to have a professionalism. It has to be taught. It has to be practiced. It has to be understood to know what you're doing. Now, there are people who do things, to cross the street without looking, right? So they're idiots, right? If a person attaches wires without knowing what he's doing, he's an idiot too. But not everything that you have to know how to do it doesn't make it into Maasei Uman. Now, there are people who charge to put plugs on. Why? Because there are people who don't want to do it. Most things that are professional, a regular person could do.
There's people who charge to bring your groceries home from the store. It doesn't make them nice.
One second. Is there a connection between the two of them?
They're charging for the time they're spending to do something for you.
Yeah, I understand. But the reason why I'm having someone bring home the groceries for me is because I don't have time. Somebody else is bringing them down because what?
It's not a Maasei Uman.
Right? No, not because
It's too difficult.
not because it's too, not because I don't know how to do it, not because I don't want to do it. I don't care to do it for X, Y, Z, but not because so it has a bad back, right? He's not paying for it because there's in and I'm going to see this is very negaya in Hilchos Shabbos, the translation, and this is terrible. There's certain things that between Lashon HaKodesh and English mess things up terribly. I'll just use the example, which is the best example. In Lashon HaKodesh, there's she'ela and there's halva. Two totally different things. In English, you borrow. You borrow money and you borrow a hammer. And when you start to learn ribbis, so you have to realize that Zelo nachon, meaning to say, because our concept of borrowing is related to the hammer. It's not related to halva. Halva and she'ela are two different worlds. Just that there's no difference in words. And when we trust the 39 halachas, so how's that translated regularly?
Work.
Work, and it's not work. It's constructive work. In other words, it's a certain kind of work. It's not calories burnt, right?
Force times distance.
What?
It's not force times distance.
Correct. And whereas in Hilchos Chol Hamoed, we have an Isser of Tircha, which can be just as chomer as the malach itself, which we're going to learn about. In other words, the concept of the involvement is much more in the front in Chol Hamoed than it is in Shabbos. In Shabbos, it's effect. And you'll see, even if you hold that Amir al-Akum is mutter by a Drabbana, not as necessarily Amir al-Akum mutter Chol Hamoed. You're going to see there's many, even if there's, because the subject is a totally different subject. It has to do with being Yantif Dik. That's, if I had to translate Hilchos Chol Hamoed, it's where you're allowed to be not Yantif Dik and where you have to be Yantif Dik. That's the translation, in my opinion. Okay, now that's an introduction. And we're going to see that this is, I'm going to read the whole Mishnah Berurah because there are a few points that are very important. First, the Mechaber, I guess it's also a good place to start. Chol Hamoed also b'ktsas malachos or mukti b'ktsasam. Now, the Gemara in Chagiga, which this is the base of this, there Tosfos asks a question: how could Chazal dictate what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do if it's an Issa D'Oraisa? And he deals with this issue, and I'm not going to get involved in it because I don't get involved in Iyun right now. Malachos hamutos b'chol hamoed hem chamisha. The 5 different kinds of things. Davar ha'oved im lo yasenu ata. Okay, sorry, we're going to read the Mechaber. Chol hamoed also ktsas malachos umutar b'miksaso. You're allowed to do some of them. Now here's the Ramah. Ulefi tzarech ha'inyan shayanira lachachamim lahatir. So Chazal were given the right to dictate what's permissible and what's.
So he sounds D'Oraisa.
The Mechaber is D'Oraisa, the Rabbanon. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to see.
Because he's starting with that it's usher until they said it's mutter.
Well, it could be that both of them are, you didn't see what a starting point is. I said Chazal had the right to legislate. Malachos hamutos b'chol hamoed hem chamisha, davar oved im lo yasena ata. That's permissible. Tzarchei moed, dahainu oichel nefesh demutar afilu Maasei Uman. And this is unusual. This is either tzarchei aguf or achila, which is tzarchei aguf, even a Maasei Uman is mutar. Kirisa avol shar tzarchei hamoed dafka Maasei Hediot. So if, and this is a great machlokes on the subject of drilling a hole in a wall and putting in a screw, if that's a Maasei Hediot or a Maasei Uman, And if it's a Maasei Hediot, it's permissible for you to hang up your thing in Sukkot. And if it's a Maasei Uman, it's forbidden. Now it depends what you're hanging up exactly. There's other tzirufim. But no, this is getting very technical. You understand? You have to know everything, what it is.
Does it matter if you're going into wood or concrete? Wood is the fire.
I would imagine to wood, it probably doesn't make anybody. You can't mess that up. Right?
Judging by what you hear the nights before Purim, everyone is grilling.
But why do you do the same hole 6 times?
Well, whether it's a Maasei Uman.
No, I say because a person tried doesn't mean that he's successful, right? I'm just saying that there are many things which are Maasei Uman, which many people can do, and I'll just use the example: writing. I don't think there's anybody here that can't write.
We have all that stuff. I think that's the big change.
No.
They made it not Maasei Uman.
First of all, they couldn't read. But
That's
you know what, parrots? When you were a little kid, you learned penmanship. Yes, you have to check it up in your archaic Google because they don't have that anymore, penmanship, because the kid in first grade has a tablet already. But it's good because the pages don't blow away when they're on tablet. Yeah.
But that was the Maasei Uman, was the technology took it away from being a Maasei Uman.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that also. Who says that that's true? I gave a shir on that on Chol Hamoed about 15 years ago. You don't remember?
That's weird. I remember last week.
I gave a shir on something which I can never give a shir on again. I gave a shir at that time. The person had something wrong with their computer. They would call the company, and the person on the other end would ask you what's on your screen and tell you which keys to press to fix it. So now they just take over your computer. So no, it's that doesn't happen. But what happened over there is you did a Maasei Hediot, and he is the Uman.
He's instructing you.
Right? But what are you doing? Nothing. A tatuki. Right?
He was in India. He wasn't in Uman either.
There are Indian Uman too. All right. Anyways, all right. Avashar tzarich hamoed davka Maasei Hediot k'mo shekasim tof mem ubeshil poyel she'en lo ma'alechol, and he doesn't have it to eat. You're allowed to have him do it, but tzarich rabim. U'Maasei Hediot afilu yochid v'yizbor kol echad b'koyim. V'nei ikar isat malacha b'chol hamoed yesh deas bein harishonim yesh seven shu midivrei sofrim mipnei shemotzinu b'Torah shenikru mikra kodesh v'arei hu zman chagiga b'mikdash ולפיכך אסור בעשיית מלאכה כדי שלא יישאר כמו חול שאין בהם קדושה כלל. The purpose is that this should not be a weekday. מכל מקום לא החמירו בו כמו יום טוב ממש וחלקילו these 5 things. והרבה פוסקים סוברים שהוא מן התורה. That Chol Hamoed is midaraisa. והוד כאילו בכמה דברים הנ"ל, how could they be makel on the Isser daraisa? מפני על פי הרשות שניתן לחכם מן התורה במלאכת חול המועד לפי צורך העניין להתיר, as we learn out of a pasuk in Chagiga, which the pasuk makes clear that there's a difference between Chol Hamoed and Yom Tov itself. So obviously there's some kind of distinction. That's what the Rambam says. U'ma'od yesh li zor. Now here, I'm right now screaming on the top of my lungs. Okay? U'ma'od yesh li zor shelo lahokol yoser mima she'tir chachamim. In Hilchos Chol Hamoed, you're not allowed to be more makel than it says. Havam mavazes hamoedes v'ashe'oisa be'melacha ki'ilu oivra az hoide zora. V'gam chayev lechaber Chol Hamoed b'machol b'mishto uksus nekiya shelo yineg bo minechol u'maril lovash hakata shel Shabbos. Now this is a fascinating thing. Quiz question. This is a counterintuitive question. At least the answer, excuse me. The question is not counterintuitive. The answer is, should you have nicer clothes for Yom Tov or nicer clothes for Shabbos?
Yom.
Why? Simcha. Okay, so therefore, when they say that Maril wore his Shabbos clothes, is that opposed to his weekday clothes, or as opposed to his Yontif clothes? Got to read well.
Which day was he trying to
Yeah, all right. There are those who are medayik that's the pshat that he's avoiding. You don't have to wear the Yontif; it's good enough to wear Shabbos. Okay. Okay.
Does that apply to men that they should dress better on Yom Tov for Shabbos? It says for women too, but it doesn't say it.
The answer to the question is yes, but the problem with that yes is that it's not so practical in today's society. No, it's one second. Let me just remind you, we are right now after Tisha B'Av. In the 9 days, Shabbos Chazoin, if one learns Shulchan Aruch, you find out you're not supposed to wear your Shabbos clothing. You're supposed to wear weekday clothing. Part of the reason why many poskim are mekel is because there is no difference in our Shabbos clothing and weekday clothing. Very little difference. There's no. So your hat isn't so smashed up yet, right? That's the whole. That's the whole difference. You understand? In other words, there's not such a great difference. In other words, a woman has many different of clothing, right? Men don't. We don't have that many yet.
I wear a colored shirt during the week and I wear it on Shabbos.
Okay.
Which means I should have worn a colored shirt on
Chol Hamoed.
Shabbos Tazon. I should have worn a colored shirt.
Yeah. According to some, yes, but there are people who wear colored shirts on Shabbos too, right?
I'm talking about.
Yeah, but then becomes a question: does it go by you, or does it go by what people do? Actually, I'm just not getting involved in that shaila. But if you see that there are some people, like there are Litvish people that on Yontif they wear a frock and on Shabbos they don't, and that's because it's Yontif. That's called a beggar for Yontif. Have a more proper or choshev, whatever you want to call it. The person has a nice suit. If you bought one that's cut by a better tailor, made out of a better cloth, and you could put it away for Yontif, you should do so, 100%. And it doesn't have to be so other people could say, ooh and ah it. It's for you. But you should know that it's better.
We
All
had
right.
somebody in Muncie who wears a sweater and a white shirt on Shabbos. He said, "We gotta work to his house." It's not Shabbos. He says, "What are you talking about?" He says, "The whole week I wear a suit. I go to work in a suit. I wear a suit. I wear a tie." He says, "I have to wear something different on Shabbos." So he wears a sweater.
What about tuxedo?
Tuxedo is more for a chassan or something, like that.
But if you're out of sync with everybody else, why do you go down instead of up? That's why I chose the tuxedo.
Yeah.
The answer is he wants a break.
Yeah.
So it's for him, it's not for Shabbos.
The Gemara says that a person who doesn't have special clothing for Shabbos, Yishal shall be godov. He should make his clothing longer. That's considered a covet. So there is a way, if the guy really wants to know what he should do, we could come up with a yeah, no, I understand. Listen, not many people want to be individuals. It's fine. Okay. Anyways, but okay. Now, again, the mitzvahs v'samachta v'chagecha koi gam Chol Hamoed v'mavur sham keitzad v'samcha v'kosu achronim. Now, this is very not fashionable what I'm about to read right now. The only thing that I could say that American Jewry and Rabbi Leib Steinman have in common is neither of them bench a whole week only on Shabbos. Right, in America, I didn't say that. I said they have it in common, right? In America, people don't wash, right? Unless he's a bris and there's bagels to take, but
The kids don't do it here either. They don't want it.
I don't know. In Israel, at least the Israelis, they eat bread. Bread is eaten by every meal, and that gives prominence to the meal. Whether or not, and I'm saying I don't really know the answer to this question, whether it's perceptively so or ba'etzem so, I don't know. In other words, that bread is the staple of life. What?
Right, if not coming here, just people.
And so do the halachas change because of that? There are all kinds of halachas about bread being mavaz of bread. Does that exist today? People could live 70 years without touching a piece of bread, right? They eat it because they have to. But I'm saying, they don't know the people.
I'm sure, though, that whether we tourists or people that have lived in America and come here, they will tell you that the bread here in Eretz Israel is so much superior than the bread in America.
I want to tell you something. Okay, right now I'm saying right now has nothing to do with Torah. It's just to do with understanding what's going on around you. Okay? This is really based on a Gemara, but they say a joke, what's the difference between Ashkenazi and a Sephardi? Ashkenazi eats salat chai, and a Sephardi eats chai salatim. Okay? And now, you came here to learn, right? Okay. Now, what's the point? The point is there was nothing to eat here in this country except for bread, so it gets boring. So you have some tchina, you have some hummus, you have some chatzilim, you have some something, and it's all lenagev, right? Well, ma pirush hamila hazeh. It's a way to get the bread down. They ate bread because it was either that or ear, right? So they chose bread. No, I'm not, that is the basic food, but I'm saying that in America, I have a cousin who says that if I just wanted to fill up my stomach, I could drink water. Why would I have soup? If I want food, I'll eat food, right? So there's an attitude. In America, I have so many things which are better tasting than bread. Why would I fill up precious real estate with bread? That's what's behind what's going on in America. I'm just this is not a Torah opinion. This was just Eli, am I what I'm saying is right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so but lamaisa, but bread is the basic staple of food, and I don't know that it changed. I don't really know that it changed, but echshahu vadai, a person who eats bread is kaveh himself. There's a certain kvias. The chiddush of a sandwich, which was created by an Earl, whose name was Sandwich. That was his name. Was
What?
Google it, you'll find
It
out.
was invented in the Pesach Seder.
Obviously, Webster didn't have a seder. Okay. Anyways, but there was a shtickle of bezoyin to the kviyas, to the bread. Anyways, that says the Mishnah Berurah. Forget that's a chiddush. Don't you understand? The Leil HaSeder tells you to do something abnormal, not something normal. Right? Anyways, no one said we couldn't figure out how to eat a sandwich. That wasn't the point. Because Achronim, Dafka Muchasim Kuf Peches, the Eino Mechuyev Lechol Pas, Dafka Mechol Hamoed. You don't have to eat pas. This is from Gemara and Sukkah. Rak the also the Salas. We call Mokom Lechatchila Mitzvah Lekoa Suda Ala Pas, Achas Balayla v'Achas Bayom. Twice a day you should wash. People don't even do that. Who knows why? In Kippur we don't do that. The key with the Mitzvah Lechavda v'Achila v'Shtia, and the Iker Achila Hu Halechem. So again, I'm not so sure halacha l'maisa about the last statement, but I do believe Sach HaKol Zenachon, that Tikka Achila, when a person has a prominent meal, person washes. I'll just say, and I close on this thought, even when someone goes to a chasana in America, not necessarily does he wash. person goes to chasna over here and he's planning to stay for the meal, he washes. But it's not the kviyas of bread is much greater here. Okay.